everybody. Welcome to another episode of Poll Science. So the final voting figures for the first two phases of the Lok Sabha elections are in. The Election Commission has said that there was 66.14% polling for the first phase that was held on the 19th of April and 66.71% polling for the second phase that was held on the 26th of April. Now this is a drop of just under 4 percentage points for the first phase and under 3 percentage points for the second phase compared to the 2019 elections. So what does that mean? Let's ask our data expert and analyst Amitabh Tiwari. Thank you, Mr. Tiwari, for being here, for speaking to NDTV. My first question to you, sir. On the 20th of April, a day after the first phase of voting in 102 seats, the ECI had pegged voting at 65.5%, and on the 27th of April, there was an indication of a turnout of 66.7% for the second phase, which comprised 88 seats. Now the revised numbers or the final numbers are slightly different. For days, everyone has been concerned about polling numbers reflecting a lack of enthusiasm amongst voters. What story do the final numbers present?
So the final numbers are not very different from what the Election Commission had put out. So the average turnout drop is between 3% to 4% in both the phases. Of course, it indicates a certain lack of enthusiasm amongst the voters. Now, which section of voters, it is difficult to predict. It could be a mixture of both, because one is that this Mission 400 slogan by the BJP could have put some neutral voters or sympathizers of BJP into complacency, whereas on the other side, which is the opposition side, some could feel that this election is a dull deal, because there is no emotive issue like a Pulwama missing in 2024 elections. So these could be the reasons. Of course, scorching heat is one of the reasons. The marriage season also ends now. So we have to see whether from phase 3 we have a better turnout or not. The fact that the Election Commission and many influencers, TV channels like you and radio channels also have been spreading awareness about the increase in turnouts, it is rather surprising that there is a drop, because 1.5-2% should be the normal increase in turnout in such a scenario.
Right. So, sir, talking about numbers here, 3 BJP strongholds and 3 different turnout numbers are what the data tells us. UP and MP have seen the sharpest decline, and this is according to the final figures. It has gone up a little bit in Chhattisgarh. Is there something that we can read into this final numbers?
Yeah. So different states, we could speculate that there could be different theories for different states. So let's say UP. UP has largely seen voting in the western UP. Now western UP, the Jats have a significant dominance, around 25% of population, along with Muslims and Dalits also occupy a significant space there. Now the party which used to represent the community, which is the RLD, Gyan Chaudhary's RLD, has made a shift from the India bloc to the NDA bloc. Now it does not mean that all the voters and sympathizers of RLD were happy with this decision. So it seems that a section of the Jat community, and of course the Jat community is also synonym with the farmers' protest and the unrest, may not have been happy with this decision. And I think this could be the primary reason of the low turnout in western UP or UP, let's say.
Right.
In MP, again, of course, heat and all are very common reasons. In MP, I think if you see the voter turnout amongst women has been around 9% lower. Of course, men also has been lower. But it seems that the women folk are missing Mama Shivraj Singh Chauhan, because he has been the glue for the party in the past 20-25 years and has been very popular amongst the women. Now denial of chief ministership to Shivraj Singh Chauhan, plus he has been tied to a seat of sorts, because he is just contesting from Vidisha and does not have a significant campaign plan across the state. And Mohan Yadav is still new, yet to fill in his shoes. And it seems that the BJP lacks a star campaigner there. Of course, Prime Minister Modi is popular, but a local star campaigner in Shivraj is missing there.
Right. So let's talk about some specific seats here. The biggest decline in turnout, apart from Nagaland, seems to be in Siddhi, which is in Madhya Pradesh. There's also 11.6 percentage points decline in voter percentage in Mathura. There's also Khajuraho, Shadol and Rewa in Madhya Pradesh, like we're talking about, and Pathanamthitta in Kerala. What could be the reasons for this?
So if you see Mathura, I mean Mathura, there have been some rumblings because of repetition of Hema Malini as the candidate. So there have been a section of voters not very happy with BJP's decision of re-nominating Hema Malini, and of course the Jat factor which we discussed could have led to some dropout in Mathura. If you see Khajuraho, in Khajuraho the Samajwadi Party was to contest from India Bloc, and the candidate's nomination was cancelled. So the Congress party is backing a forward bloc candidate. So there is of course a dampener of sorts, dampener of sentiments for the India voters, and that's why we see that there is a limited turnout in Khajuraho. In Patnam Thita, I mean of course there is a VIP candidate there in Anil Antony, but there also of course migration has been a key issue in Kerala. Scorching heat has been an issue, but it also seems that what happens is that in Kerala, because CPM and the Congress party are fighting a very bitter battle, but in the rest of India they are allies, friends. So this also sends a bit of a confusing message among the opposition voters. I mean, when I say opposition, BJP is opposition. So whom should they actually vote for? So a CPM led candidate or a Congress candidate? And both are same, because in the end both are part of the India bloc. So that sort of confusion also could have led to a decline in turnout in Patnam Thita.
That's interesting, sir. And talking about heat, April also happened to be the second hottest on record across south of India. Now, is that a reason we saw a dip in Tamil Nadu and also Kerala, that, like we're talking about? Now, these two states are otherwise known for higher voter participation.
Yeah, I mean, heat is one of the issues. Of course, January, February also was one of the hottest recorded ever, and climate change is such a big issue nowadays. So I am pretty surprised as to how the Election Commission was not able to incorporate or factor in the climate change issue as well, because in Bihar or even in some states, some seats in Madhya Pradesh, the increase in temperature compared to 2019 is between the range of 1 degrees to 5 degrees on the polling day. So that's a huge number. So now the Election Commission needs to increase the voting hours. It has done for some seats, because it is summer. I think easily for seats the threshold from 5 p.m. could be increased in the evening, so that more and more people are able to participate.
Right. So is there a sense of voter fatigue or not, or it's too early to say that, sir?
The sense of voter fatigue is there. I mean, it cannot be discounted. Of course, we see urban apathy continues to be there. So we see that in Chennai and Bangalore. I mean, Karnataka, we've seen bumper voting, but is the Bangalore cities which have brought the turnout lower. So urban apathy continues to be there, because I think people in the urban cities are not that dependent upon the government for their daily lives, and they see no difference in political parties and the ability and the political will of parties to solve the basic issues. Amongst the poor also, it seems that in some parts, because there has been not significant change in their lives and they still are grappling with the issues of Bijli Sadak Pani, there could be some sense of disillusionment and voter discontent, as we've seen in Nagaland, and even in some seats in MP, where villages have not participated in the electoral process.
So my last question to you, there's also criticism by some opposition parties over the delay in releasing turnout numbers. Many parties, including Congress, TMC and CPM, have questioned the Election Commission over the delay in announcing the final voter turnout numbers for the first two phases. Congress, in fact, has said that the EC used to release final data numbers, of voting percentage, just within days or within hours of the voting, but it's taken about 11 days now. In fact, Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena faction has said that the figures could even be inflated. Do you see this as scaremongering or genuine concerns? And also, constituency-wise data doesn't seem to be there, like, the total number of voters. Is that also something that's lacking?
See, first of all, if you see the final voting number and compare it with the initial numbers, there's not much difference. However, the point also is taken that the Election Commission should have come out with the numbers very soon and not this late. And if we are talking about a total voter base, then how is it possible that the Election Commission does not have seat-wise voter numbers? Because percentages are relative numbers, they are not absolute. So unless you have the seat-wise voter numbers and the votes polled, it is very, very difficult to ascertain as to what is the absolute amount of increase or decrease in a particular constituency, because the absolute number of the total voter base has increased by 10%. from 88 lakhs to around 90, so from 88 crores to around 98 crores. So that also makes a difference. So 5% drop from the new base is higher in absolute terms because 10 crore voters have been added to the base. So I think they might be facing some issues, and in an era where the Election Commission has been facing criticism, I think they should be on their toes and should be releasing the numbers for the balance phases very quickly.
Right. So the final data numbers are out. ECI has in fact come out with those data. We'll keep unpacking all those numbers that are relevant to the Lok Sabha elections of 2024, and we'll be back with another episode of Poll Science very soon. Thank you for watching.